Y'all know where the fish are?
In that water?
Thanks. About par for the course around here. How y'all doing? One thing I'm going to tell y'all about fishing is don't ever listen to guys in rocking chairs at the front of tackle shops. They will never give you solid information about fishing.
But you know, I ain't never got a fish out of that river dry.
Yeah, pretty much.
Always been wet.
That's par for the course.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Never going to get any solid information. Rocking chairs, cups of coffee, and not on the lake, never getting any good information.
What about a biscuit or?
No, I got biscuit poisoning right here, so I'm trying to get past that. All right, guys, so Alex made it in from Canada last night, getting delayed like 17 times, which pretty much happens every time you fly in from Canada. So we're heading out on beautiful Lake Nickajack. We're a little bit late getting started. Obviously, a lot of travel and logistics involved, getting our schedule synced up. We're at Marion County Park. It's one of my favorite places to fish here. Just over here on the other side of the bridge, there's a bunch of road beds and a couple of submerged bridges. I'm gonna go target those. After that, a little further upriver, there's a couple of coves that are worth messing with. These bridges over here, the rock shorelines on them are pretty decent. And then if you go back under the bridge over here, you can also work the edges of the creek channel. I can see a couple of bass bedding down here right by the boat ramp. And then there's a lot of bait activity. The water's relatively clear, but it's got that nice green tinge to it. So I always like the Tennessee River lakes when they're like that. We're gonna run over here, get unloaded. We're gonna bring you guys the unloading, gearing up sequence. I'm gonna get the intro done with Alex, and we'll jump out on the water, see if we can't catch some fish. In conjunction with the FLW Tour Stop on Chickamauga, we're about to make kayak fishing history. It's the first time that we've partnered with a pro series tour. It's the foundation for growing this thing bigger next year. Man, I'm excited. Get out there, let's catch some fish. Cool, intro done. All right, so that's how we do it. A lot of times, it's a lot of extra work. You gotta shoot an intro, then a re-intro, you gotta shoot the YouTube version, then you gotta shoot the TV version. You know, I'd rather just go fishing, but this allows me to fish places, times, that I would never be able to fish. And yeah, I am the most blessed guy on the planet. Never gonna argue with anybody about that. But yeah, it's awesome. The brotherhood, the camaraderie, the community. These guys are out here, you know, breaking bread, high-fiving, sharing information. Where you going? Oh, I'm going over here. Where you going? Oh, I'm gonna try this. And it's just, you know, it's just something special about this community. It's something special about this brotherhood, something special about this family. And I love it. I love being part of it. You know, people ask me all the time, man, do you miss it? Because I retired from the military in 2012. And the thing is, I do miss some of the people. And if I missed anything about the military, it'd be the brotherhood. But I don't have to miss it, because I just went from an extension of my family on into this brotherhood. So that feeling of camaraderie, esprit de corps, belonging to something bigger than yourself, it's all here with the kayak fishing community. So we're gonna get out here in Nickajack, see if we can't find some fish, and see how this first ever KBF partnership tournament with FLW, the FLW KBF Open here on Nickajack. It's gonna be fun. Some of the best sticks in the country are here. We're approaching 100 anglers right now. It was smack dab between our Guntersville tournament and our Three Rivers Throwdown, which are two of our historically biggest tournaments. So it's impressive that these folks stepped up and took the time out of their schedule. We released the date late, but it just says what the future holds for this pro fishing series and partnership with FLW. So we're gonna get out there and see if we can catch a fish. All right, guys, a lot of y'all have been asking me for electronics stuff, and I apologize that it's taken me as long as it has to actually get to it. So what I'm gonna start doing is, when I'm on a fishing trip, I'm gonna start showing you the things that I'm looking at, the things that I'm looking for, you know, that kind of stuff. How to set up the DepthFinder, how to set up, you know, everything basically. So what we're gonna do right now is I'm gonna show you something. I'm actually coming up on this submerged bridge piling right there, and you notice that I'm coming into this creek channel. So what I want you to see is, you see the bottom transition when you go from a road bed, right, where it's a little bit wider, to a hard bottom. And now look at this, I'm coming into some grass right there. So one of the things that you're looking for is those little bitty subtle differences. Once I see that grass, pretty much when it's in the center of my screen, I'm gonna hit a new waypoint, I'm gonna hit save, and then I can set that up as an electronic buoy line later on. But what I'm doing right here is I'm fishing basically an intersection of some old creek channels. I've got a roadbed right here, a submerged bridge, and I'm sitting in 17 feet of water, 75 degrees surface temperature. But that's gonna mean it's a lot cooler down there. And if you notice, when I'm over the top of that hard stuff, it's a hard line. Hard lines are thin, soft substrates are thicker, and then a lot of times if you can just find a transition, I'll paddle back and forth, and when I see that line get thicker, I'll mark a waypoint. Then I'll do another pass, and when I see it get thin, I'll mark another waypoint. Then I'll paddle back and I'll make another one. So what I do is I kind of do like a mow in the yard zigzag, and what that ends up doing is it gives me a buoy line that I can use on my waypoints to set up exactly where that transition is. And fishing transitions either parallel to them if you want to stay in the strike zone, or coming across them perpendicular will get you a lot of bites in deeper water. So this time of year when everybody's fishing for shallow post-spawn transition fish, I like to get out here and find this offshore stuff. Got a really good setup here. I'm gonna stay zoomed in close so you can see exactly what's going on, but I am right in the middle of the old creek channel right now, 17.5 feet. If I let this go and I drifted up over the top of this, you would see another, bottom change characteristic or something along those lines. But I'm over the top of that submerged bridge. I'm gonna try to, as you notice here, it's starting to come in, there's a little bit of grass. So what I have found over the years at places like this is you'll have your old roadbed, you'll have your creek channel, and you'll have your bridge. And then in these gaps in between them, you will find that there are grasses and things along those lines that really give you a target to shoot for. So 17 feet of water, 75 degree water temperature. I'm drifting right now, but again, I'm looking for those multiple targets in deep water. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn the camera off, but I'm gonna paddle around until I find the hard edges of some of those submerged bridge chunks and pieces. And I'm looking for stuff like that, some type of return, whether that is a grass, a piece of flooded timber, whatever it happens to be. And then I'm gonna start getting my sensitivity dialed up. I may go to the chart and go to high chirp, and then what that'll do is give me more target separation. I start to look for those little arcs, and that's gonna really help me find fish. But as you notice, as I come off of that creek bed and I get that softer stuff right there, that's that's mud or some type of surface change, and then as I'm drifting out of it, it gets uneven, and basically that black line is your hard return. Everything on top of it is probably chunk rock or mud or what have you, and then this is gonna be some type of tree line, some submerged something or another, and it may even be the edge of the bridge. And if you notice, that thing's coming up all the way to 5 feet off the bottom. And so what I could do is I could mark a waypoint right there, just hit that, oops, go back to my chart view, mark a waypoint on top of that, spin around and fish it and see how it works out. But again, we're out here, we're working a really high percentage target area. There's a couple of points nearby that if the sun was a little lower, I would expect the fish to be on there. But right now I'm gonna work my way around this. If I catch a fish, I'm gonna show you how I caught it, where I caught it, why I caught it, what I caught it on, and basically start to unravel a lot of this, how to use electronics, how to set them up, so on and so forth. I'll talk to you about color separation, contrast, sensitivity, and all of that as I go through it. All right, guys, here we go. Oh, there he is. He came out and ate it right at the boat. That was pretty cool. I saw him coming and was about to pick it up out of the water and dropped it back down, and he ate it. Not a monster, but we'll take it. When they're not a monster, what do we call them? Pink drops. GoPro, start recording. It's a good fish. Better fish. Not a monster. Yeah. Not a bad fish, but not the monsters we're looking for, and definitely not the one these guys will win the tournament with. But Caught this fish in 17 foot of water. Let me get it back in the water and I'll show you where I caught it and what I caught it on. So I caught this guy on a little Ned rig head with a piece of Senko, kind of fished as a Ned rig. And if you want to come in here, I'll show you. Let me spin this around real quick and show you guys where I caught this fish and what I caught it on, so it all makes sense from the tip I did earlier. So I fished this first bridge, submerged bridge over here out in deeper water that I showed you guys. Just didn't have any fish on it. So these two creek channels came together, and I knew with this little ditch between them that there was a good possibility there'd be fish there. So I've been well, this is from me spinning the boat, but I've been marking good fish there. And so what I did is I made a drift across the corner of that that piece of submerged bridge. So let me show you why I talk about the spot on the spot on the spot. So what we've got here is we've got a road bed, a submerged creek channel, and a submerged piece of bridge. So that is a piece of submerged bridge. I'll back out a little bit, see where it says submerged bridge right there. So it's a piece of submerged bridge, a road bed going through here, and then your creek channel. So you've got an intersection of three pretty much fish holding structures and covers, and then there's some grass down there, as you can see in some of the places down here. There's not a real regular bottom. I found some rocks, I found some other stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paddle back up, set that drift up again, try to duplicate it. But what you're looking for these fish in transition is there's some flats, and we just came from a spawning flat where we went under the bridge, and these fish are now following these creek channels. And so the other thing that we've got going on here is we've got a nice creek bend. So I don't know how many times I've told you guys over the years that I love swings. So what I've got in this channel is I've got a swing in the channel, I've got a piece of bridge piling, I've got good structural change, and I've got a road bed. Pretty much the recipe for finding bass offshore in deeper water. Right now, as you can see, we're drifting along. We're in 8 foot of water, so there's this rise that we're over the top of. So you've got a good canyon going down in there. You've got a road bed. You've got a submerged piece of bridge. And you've got a creek channel. I mean, realistically, if we can find these fish schooled up here in the heat of the day, we probably can catch 50 that way. So we're going to paddle back up there. Not going to beat the spot up because obviously I want to leave some fish there. I'd like to be out here at daylight to catch these fish closer to the bank. But again, this is part of the scouting process. It's part of the finding fish process. We found one. Now we got to find the big ones. So here we go. Yeah, I think so. I think so. I'm going to go up here and eat a little keto lunch. So what you do, for the most part, your body is designed to eat about a handful. So you do a handful, a robust handful of macadamia nuts. And then I've been digging these Pro Puffs because they've got very low carbs and high protein. So I ate about a half a bag of these at a time. But if I'm eating a keto cup, I just eat just enough to make it make sense. And then I'll take the Ostrom. Basically, they make a whole bunch of different flavors. They've got ostrich. This is habanero. This one is buffalo. So I think I'm going to go for the habanero today. And so this is a really cool thing that I came up with. I refer to it affectionately as the keto cup. So I'll take my cup and I put my macadamia nuts in it, and I put my Pro Puffs in there, and then I just take my scissors and just cut up my protein. For the most part, I'll take one Ostrom stick, and then I'll take a hot and spicy or a green chili lime, one of these Duke's sticks, just to add a little variety to it. And I usually make these a little thinner pieces because they're a little denser. And then just shake it up, and you got a keto cup. Real simple. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
I've heard airplanes quieter than that.
That's exactly right.
Well, so we split up on the water. Last I saw Jamie, I hadn't caught anything. I ended up catching one fish. I found a spot on the roadbed where I marked a bunch of them. I caught one. I went to the other side of the road, or the other side of the bridge on this road bed, this underwater bridge. Tried to catch some, I didn't catch them. I paddled back over to the other spot, so I left them alone. I think I might try to come back and hit them earlier in the day during the feeding time and when the sun's not as high. So did you find any fish?
Yeah, I ended up catching one. Had a couple other bites, but shit, I know there's fish because we just sat around and went around and just watched other anglers. And I mean, you see 6, 7 fish caught every 10, 15 minutes. It's like, okay.
Confidence builder.
Oh, that's it. It's like, I know there's fish there.
Let somebody else do the scouting. So yeah, and then I forgot about I caught 2 shallow and then had one come up and bite my worm off. So, you know, the fish are there, they're active. I'm gonna go try to check another spot. What's your plan for the rest of the day?
We're gonna go hit another spot right now and possibly a third after that.
Okay. Well, that's how you do it when you get out here and pre-fish. So good luck, man, in the tournament if I don't see you again, but I'm sure I will on the leaderboard. Cool. That's how you do it. Right there. One take. I'm telling you, I need them things that ninjas have, right?
Oh,
you throw it down, poof, and it's a smoke ball, and then I just walk off. Just disappear.
Hey, they were supposed to figure out how to do that at lacrosse.
I know. So I set this Deeper system up today and started messing with it, but I'm gonna spend more time getting into the technical side of it and figuring out all the ins and outs and hows and have-yous and all that good stuff. It's actually a pretty cool concept, and I'm looking forward to exploring it even more. Obviously I've got great high-end electronics, but what intrigued me about this system is your ability to cast it, or your ability to put it off to the side, so I can have my primary unit on one thing and then I can have this Deeper system over to the side. It records and kind of logs the footage for you to go back and review. But more importantly, I travel a lot, so I don't always have the ability to take my electronics with me, so I've been looking for some type of, you know, portable, easy to use DepthFinder system. And I also do a lot of wade fishing and things like that, so I think it's going to be a great asset for that. And then more importantly, Christy's always like jumping from boat to boat to boat, and a lot of times she flies in and I don't necessarily have her stuff with me, so I'd always have one of these to throw it on her boat, so she's at least got some type of depth finder. Is a big deal. So anyway, so that's what I'm working on now. It's the end of the day. Basically we made the transition from Weiss Lake up to Nickajack. I didn't account for the time change, so I got here a little late, and then we we got out on the water even later than that because a lot of people showed up to the boat ramp, and I didn't want to paddle out and, you know, have a tail, if you will. Before the tournament started, I wanted to let these guys get out. I wanted to stay out of their way. By the time we got out there, the fishing was a little slow, but I kind of theorized that the fish were going to be on these deeper road beds, and anywhere I could find grass on a road bed, I was able to mark fish. I dropped to pretty much all of them. Finally decided I want to verify that the fish are down there. Like, I want to know for sure that they're there. I want to know for sure that they're catchable, so that we can go back out tomorrow and kind of, you know, do a lot better. So I threw a Ned rig, a little bit of a deep water Senko, you know, pretty much guarantees them. I used actually a piece of Senko on this Ned rig, threw it out, drug it along the edge of this road bed right up to this submerged bridge, piece of the bridge structure, fish on, pretty much right out of the gate. Spent another 10-15 minutes messing around there. Knew I'd confirmed the pattern. Caught a couple of fish up shallow on Senkos and U-Vibe speed worms from Zoom. The Yamamoto stuff totally dominated today. It's got a salt flavor to it that's just super real. And ran into a bunch of anglers from all over the country. That's always awesome, knowing that you're having that kind of impact and getting folks to new fisheries. Lots of text messages saying, man, this place is awesome. This place is great. This place is amazing. That's the thing that you're looking for as a tournament director. So pretty excited about this FLW KBF relationship. Looking forward to kicking off this first event, seeing how it goes, and no matter what you ever do, you can only do something the first time once, and this is the first FLW KBF event, so we'll see how it turns out. But we'll see you guys tomorrow, bright and early. We're going to get back out on Nickajack and see if we can't lay the smack down.
So what time do you want to meet in the lobby tomorrow?
I've literally already said 3 times. I got to figure out where we're fishing, then I'll tell you how far it is, and we'll back that up from 45 minutes before sunrise, and then I'll know what time it is. So I don't know yet. So I'll text you or I'll call you. Anyway, we're going to dinner in 30 minutes anyway. We'll figure it out then. 30 minutes? 30 minutes. 30 minutes.